This is how it all started, because when you put the pieces together, the bigger picture starts to form for years. Dr. Simone Whitmore and Dr. Heavenly Kimes have had a relationship that teetered between friendship and rivalry. They've shared laughs, exchanged heated words, and attempted to mend fences time and time again, but underneath all of that there was always an underlying tension, a lingering friction that neither one of them could ignore for long. And then came the divorce talk. It started as small jabs, casual remarks that could be brushed off as jokes, but then Heavenly kept pushing the narrative again and again and again. At first Simone tried to keep her composure. She laughed it off. She rolled her eyes. She gave Heavenly the benefit of the doubt. But when the comments started getting more pointed, when the topic of divorce became an almost obsessive talking point for Heavenly, Simone knew there was something more going on. Heavenly wasn't just making jokes. She wasn't just being mess. She was testing Simone over time. Heavenly made it a habit of insinuating things about Simone's marriage, things that weren't true, things that weren't even being discussed within the group, things that had no business being brought up. She made shady comments about Simone's relationship with her husband Sile. She hinted at problems that didn't even exist. She continuously brought up divorce even when the conversation had nothing to do with Simone at all. At first it seemed like typical Heavenly behavior, loud, unfiltered, and controversial, but then it became clear that this was something more calculated. And Simone noticed she wasn't the only one either. The other ladies started picking up on it too. Every time the topic of marriage came up, Heavenly somehow managed to steer it toward divorce, as if she was waiting, almost hoping for someone to admit that their relationship was failing. And let's not forget, Heavenly never liked Cecil. That was another layer to the drama. She never hid the fact that she had strong opinions about Simone's husband. She didn't approve of the way he spoke out, didn't like the way he responded to the ladies' drama, and wasn't afraid to say that she didn't respect him. So when she started making divorce comments about Simone, it wasn't coming from nowhere. But here's the craziest part: what if Heavenly's obsession with divorce wasn't really about Simone at all? What if deep down Heavenly was projecting? Because let's be real, people who constantly bring up one particular topic over and over usually have a personal connection to it. Could it be that Heavenly saw something in her own marriage that made her fixate on divorce? Was she struggling with something behind closed doors that made her hyper-focused on everyone else's relationships? Or was it all just a deflection, a way to avoid talking about her own reality by stirring up drama in someone else's? Whatever the case may be, one thing was certain: Simone had had enough for too long. She had let it slide. She had ignored the comments, avoided the arguments, and taken the high road. But not anymore. This time Simone wasn't letting Heavenly get away with it. And when the confrontation finally happened, it changed everything. This is where it gets interesting, because Dr. Heavenly has built her brand on controversy. Dr. Heavenly Kimes has never been one to bite her tongue. She prides herself on being blunt, straightforward, and unapologetic. If she has a thought, she's going to say it, whether it's appropriate or not, whether it's true or not, whether it destroys a friendship or not. That's just who she is. And for the longest time, the women of Married to Medicine have tolerated it. They've accepted that Heavenly is going to be messy, that she's going to stir the pot, and that she's going to say things that most people wouldn't dare say out loud. But there's one topic that Heavenly just can't seem to let go of, and that's divorce. Again and again she's made it her mission to call out other people's marriages. It's almost as if she thinks she's a relationship expert, offering unsolicited advice, making predictions, and laughing at other people's struggles as if their entertainment. She's done it to Simone and Sile. She's done it to Toya and Eugene. She's even made snide remarks about other cast members' relationships whenever given the chance, and when she gets called out for it, she laughs it off. She claims she's just keeping it real. She says she doesn't mean any harm. She brushes it off as a joke that people are taking too seriously. But here's the problem: Heavenly's words aren't just jokes. They're calculated, they're pointed. They're meant to hit a nerve, and when it comes to Simone and Cecil, she's been relentless. Even though Simone and Cecil have worked through their past marital struggles, even though they're in a solid place now, Heavenly keeps bringing up divorce like she's waiting for it to happen. Why is she so fixated on this topic? Why does she keep pushing this narrative? At first it seemed like just another messy habit of hers, but the more she did it, the more obvious it became. This wasn't just random gossip, this was something deeper, because let's be honest, when someone keeps bringing up a particular topic over and over again, there's usually a personal reason behind it. Could it be that Heavenly sees something in her own marriage that she won't admit? Could it be that she's projecting her own fears, her own insecurities, her own struggles onto the other women? For years, Heavenly has painted the image of having the perfect marriage. She constantly brags about how much her husband Dr. Damon loves her, how strong their relationship is, how they've built an empire together. But behind closed doors, no one really knows what's going on. And if we've learned anything from reality TV, it's that the loudest ones, the ones who scream the hardest about how perfect their marriages are, often the ones hiding the most. So the question remains, is Heavenly calling out Simone's marriage, or is she really exposing something about her own one? Thing is for sure, Simone isn't letting this go anymore, and when she finally confronts Heavenly, it's going to be a moment that no one sees coming. But here's the shocking part: Simone didn't just call Heavenly out, she exposed her. Enough was enough. For months, Dr. Simone Whitmore had listened to Dr. Heavenly Kimes run her mouth about divorce, about Simone's marriage, about other women's relationships, about every single topic that she had no business discussing. And for months Simone had bitten her tongue. She had tried to take the high road, tried to avoid giving Heavenly the attention she craved. But then it happened again. Once again, in a group conversation, Heavenly found a way to bring up the topic of divorce casually, of course, but with that same smugness, that same instigating energy that Simone had come to expect. And this time Simone wasn't letting it slide. At first she simply addressed it head-on with calm but firm energy. She let Heavenly know that her marriage to Sile wasn't anyone's business. It was private, sacred, and not up for discussion, especially not by someone who clearly had an agenda. But Heavenly, being Heavenly, wasn't about to back down that easily. She smirked, rolled her eyes, and brushed it off as if Simone was overreacting. "Oh girl, I was just talking," she probably said with a laugh. "Ain't nobody trying to come for you." But Simone wasn't having it. That's when she hit her with the truth, the real truth that had been bubbling under the surface for far too long. "Heavenly, you are the last person who should be giving advice about marriage." Simone shot back, her voice steady but sharp, and that's when the energy in the room shifted, because the reality was this: Heavenly had spent so much time judging other people's relationships, but she had never once been honest about her own. She had mocked Simone's marriage, she had criticized other women's husbands, she had acted like she had all the answers, like she was the expert in love and commitment. But when was the last time she looked at her own situation? Simone wasn't the only one who had noticed the cracks forming in Heavenly's seemingly perfect marriage. There had been whispers, moments where Heavenly avoided certain questions, where she brushed off conversations that got too deep, where she changed the subject when her own relationship was put under the microscope. So Simone called her out publicly. You keep bringing up divorce like you're waiting for mine to happen. Simone continued, but Leighton, be real, maybe you should be paying a little more attention to your own marriage instead of talking about mine. And just like that the room fell silent, because for the first time in a long time Dr. Heavenly Kiss had nothing to say. Took an unexpected turn because the woman who had built her brand on controversy and messy commentary had just been confronted with the one thing. She wasn't ready to face her own reality. What makes this story different? Because now the tables have turned. It's one thing to gossip, it's another to keep bringing up the same topic again and again as if it's a personal obsession. Dr. Heavenly Kimes has never been shy about sharing her opinions, especially when it comes to other people's relationships. Whether it's questioning someone's loyalty, throwing shade at a husband, or making sly remarks about divorce, she's always had something to say. But now fans are asking a bigger question. Why is she so fixated on divorce? Because let's be real, Heavenly doesn't just casually mention the topic. She doesn't just bring it up in passing. No, she hammers at home over and over again to the point where it feels personal. And now people are starting to wonder if there's a deeper reason behind her words. Is Heavenly projecting? When someone repeatedly focuses on a topic, there's usually a reason behind it, and with Heavenly it's starting to look less like concern and more like projection. Could it be that she sees something in her own marriage that she refuses to acknowledge? Maybe the cracks in her own relationship are starting to show, and instead of addressing them, she's distracting herself by picking apart other people's unions. After all, it's easier to point fingers at someone else than to turn the mirror on yourself, and if that's the case, then it explains everything. Is there trouble in paradise? Fans have started noticing something strange. Heavenly loves to talk about marriage, but when the conversation shifts to her own husband, Dr. Damon Kimes, she suddenly gets very uncomfortable. She laughs things off, she changes the subject, she gets defensive, and when people have dared to ask about her own marriage, she immediately shuts them down. So what's going on? Because let's be real, if someone is truly happy in their relationship, they're not obsessed with the idea of other people's divorces. They're not constantly hinting at breakups, questioning marriages, or inserting themselves into conversations that don't concern them. Could it be that Heavenly is overcompensating? Is she using Simone's marriage as a shield to avoid discussing what's happening in her own home? And if so, what exactly is she hiding? Or does she just love stirring the pot? Of course, there's another possibility. Maybe Heavenly just enjoys the drama. Let's not forget she's built her entire brand on being messy, blunt, and brutally honest. She's the queen of shade, the master of stirring the pot, and she knows exactly how to get under people's skin. And what's the best way to do that? Go after what matters most, their marriage, because she knows one thing for sure: nothing will trigger someone faster than questioning their relationship. But here's the craziest part: Heavenly has been way too comfortable dissecting other people's marriages, but when it's time to talk about her own, she shuts it down. Why is that? Why does she have so much to say about other couples but refuses to discuss her own? Because at the end of the day, one thing is becoming clear: maybe Heavenly's obsession with divorce isn't about Simone at all. Maybe, just maybe, it's about herself. This is how you know things just got real, because now the cast is choosing sides. The moment Dr. Simone Whitmore finally snapped on Dr. Heavenly Kimes, the energy in the room shifted. This wasn't just another petty argument or a small misunderstanding. This was years of tension exploding all at once. For the longest time Heavenly had been pushing the limits, testing Simone's patience and repeatedly throwing shade about divorce, and now Simone had enough. But now that Simone has called her out in front of everyone, the big question is who's really on Simone's side. The ladies are divided as expected. The cast is split. Some of the ladies completely understand why Simone had to put Heavenly in her place. They've seen Heavenly's pattern of behavior for years, making reckless comments, stirring up drama, and then acting like it's all just jokes when someone calls her out to them. Simone had every right to stand up for herself and set the record straight. And then there are the ones who are hesitant because the way Simone came for Heavenly, it wasn't just a clapback, it was an exposure. She didn't just check Heavenly for her constant gossiping, she flipped the script and put the spotlight on Heavenly's own marriage. And when that happened, Heavenly didn't seem so confident anymore. Did Simone hit too close to home? When Heavenly is throwing shade at someone else, she's loud, bold, and completely unapologetic. But this time she didn't know what to say, and that's what's making people wonder, did Simone strike a nerve? Because let's be real, when someone talks a big game but suddenly goes quiet when the same energy is directed at them, that usually means there's truth to what's being said. And Heavenly's silence that was loud. The craziest part, some of the cast members aren't even mad at Simone. They're just worried about what's going to happen next. This feud is far from over. If there's one thing everyone knows about Heavenly, it's that she doesn't take L's lightly. She might have been caught off guard in the moment, but trust and believe she's going to fire back, and when she does, it won't be pretty, because Heavenly isn't just going to let this go. She's going to regroup. She's going to come up with a response, and she's going to make sure that Simone feels the heat just as much as she did. And the scariest part, this might be just the beginning. You won't believe what's happening online, because the internet is not holding back. The moment Dr. Simone Whitmore and Dr. Heavenly kiss confrontation hit the screen, social media erupted. Fans immediately took to Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, dropping their opinions, posting receipts, and debating who was right and who was dead wrong, because this wasn't just another argument, it was a moment. And when reality TV delivers a moment like this, the internet is going to have a field day. Simone said what needed to be said. A huge wave of fans are riding with Simone on this one. For years they've watched as Heavenly poked, prodded, and pushed people's buttons, stirring up drama and throwing shade without consequences. They've seen her attack people's marriages, spread rumors, and then turn around and act like she was just joking. And now she's finally getting a taste of her own medicine. Fans are flooding the comment section with Simone ate that she was tired of the disrespect, and she let Heavenly have it. Heavenly should have known better. She's been dragging marriages for years. The way Heavenly suddenly got quiet when Simone clapped back, yeah, she wasn't ready for these fans. Simone did what needed to be done. She didn't just defend herself, she exposed Heavenly's hypocrisy. Not everyone is on Simone's side, but on the other side of the debate there are people who think Simone went too far. According to these fans, Heavenly was just joking and Simone overreacted. Sumer saying that Simone took it way too personally. Heavenly jokes like this all the time. If Simone is so secure in her marriage, why is she getting so mad? Heavenly wasn't trying to be malicious. Y'all are reading too much into this. These fans believe that Simone should have brushed it off instead of making it a huge deal, and some they're even defending Heavenly's behavior. Now the feud has extended beyond the show. What started as drama between Simone and Heavenly has now turned into a full-blown internet war. Friendships are being tested, lines are being drawn, and Nobody is backing down the craziest part. This isn't just about Simone versus Heavenly anymore. Fans are digging deeper, pulling up old clips of Heavenly talking about other people's marriages there, analyzing her words, trying to figure out if she was just being messy or if there's a hidden truth behind her constant divorce talk. And now the pressure is on because after all this backlash, both Simone and Heavenly have no choice but to respond, and when they do, social media is going to explode all over again. But here's the shocking part. This fight might have changed everything the moment Dr. Simone Whitmore finally snapped and confronted Dr. Heavenly Kimes. It sent shock waves through the entire group. This wasn't just a petty disagreement, this was years of tension, shade, and unspoken resentment boiling over into one explosive moment. Now, there's no going back, because when you call someone out publicly in front of everyone, it changes things. The group dynamic has officially shifted, and the question is, what happens now? The breaking point: can Simone and Heavenly ever be friends again? Let's be real. Simone and Heavenly's friendship has always been on shaky ground. They've had their ups and downs, but this time feels different. This wasn't just a small disagreement that could be laughed off later. This was personal, this was deep. And now people are wondering, was this the final straw? Is there any way for them to move past this, or have we just witnessed the end of whatever friendship they had left? Because here's the thing. Once you expose someone's hypocrisy in front of everyone, it's hard to come back from that. And let's not forget, Heavenly has a history of holding on to grudges. She doesn't forgive easily, she doesn't let things go. So if anyone thinks she's going to just shrug this off and move on, they might want to think again. Will Heavenly finally learn her lesson, or will she keep the drama going for years? Fans have watched as Heavenly meddled in people's marriages through shady comments and acted like she was just keeping it real. But now the tables have turned. She's the one being called out. She's the one under the microscope, and people want answers. Will she finally take accountability? Will she stop speaking on other people's relationships? Or will she do what she always does? Double down and make things even messier? Because if history has taught us anything, Heavenly is not the type to back down. If anything, this might push her to be even more reckless. The group is divided and everyone is picking sides. Now that Simone has put Heavenly on blast, the rest of the cast is being forced to choose where they stand. Some of them agree with Simone. They've been tired of Heavenly's reckless mouth, and they think it was about time someone put her in her place. Others think Simone went too far. They're worried that calling out Heavenly so publicly will only escalate the situation and create even more drama.